for being with us tonight at the final of our summer concert series. My name is Jessie Finney, I'm the library director, and I really want to give a huge welcome to Celtic Bells. We're really excited to hear them this evening, but I also want to say a huge thank you to the Friends of the Scituate Library who funded not just this concert series, but really every program that we do at the library, and we're so grateful for what they do. And if you like programs like this, please consider supporting them. And they all have so, Mary Lou.
Thank you all for coming. And we know that the Celtic Bells are already wonderful since they started playing. So Jessie's right. This is the most expensive program that the Friends run, but we absolutely want to keep doing it. We have underwriters, the Scituate Education Foundation, King's Jeweler, the Scituate Chair Company, and the Driftway General Stores. We have them, and then we also have donors, and they're listed on the sign. So please think about that when you go out to do your shopping. Thank you so much and enjoy.
So I'm Nancy Bell, and I just realized I forgot to change my shoes. All right. But we are so excited. It's a relaxed feeling we're having here. It's just such a lovely evening, and we are so excited to bring this program to you. This is my son.
I'm Callum Bell, and my mic isn't loud enough.
And we're here to tell you a story. We are really excited about this story. It is a story with a terrible beginning, a medium sort of middle, and an exciting and triumphant conclusion. Are you up for that? It is the story of the Irish in Boston.
Which is so similar to my story, because I'm in fact Irish and I live in Boston. Nancy here, my mother, is going to be explaining all the history and the important tidbits, and I'm going to be playing a various array of pretty much all the Irish instruments. So.
One of the reasons we decided to do this program is because we hear a lot today about immigrants and about the struggles that they're going through. And we have that story. Hands up if you've got some Irish ancestry in you. Anybody here? Anybody? Yes, look at this. Do you know that in Massachusetts, 23%, almost 1 in 4, can trace their heritage back to Ireland? And it's a gruesome story. We've come a long way, and it's worth celebrating that story and making sense of this world melting pot that we're in right now in America, right now, welcoming more people also struggling with people who are also struggling. So we're going to start this story back with a great hunger. Does anybody know what we were hungry for back in Ireland? What were we so hungry for? What did we eat all day?
Potatoes.
Potatoes, right. There was a great light that came upon us. And in the 1800s, specifically 1847 was the worst year, the potatoes were dying and the people had nothing to eat. 1 million of them perished and 1 million emigrated. And they went all over the world. They went to Australia, they went to England, they went different places, but many, many, many of them came here to Boston. And were they welcomed with great open arms? No, this is the sad part of the story. They were not. Boston was mostly Protestant, and the Irish were feared for their customs, their weird and strange customs. They were feared for their religion, their terrible, terrible religion. They were feared for all sorts of things, what they ate, the way they looked, all sorts of things. And there were racial slurs. They looked like this. So our first song is a song of homesickness, and it explains a lot of the story way better than I could do with words. So many came to Boston that the neighborhoods got overcrowded, and it was the very first creation of slums in America. And that's how the first verse starts. Four share the rooms, 4 to a room. That was spacious.
Can everyone hear us okay?
Can you hear? Do we need to turn up?
Okay. All good?
4 share the room, and we work hard for the prize. Getting a plate on Sundays long, we better get to Mass. What's Mass? What are they trying to get to on Sundays? Church. Claire to here. Can you join me? Anybody want to help us? It's a long, long way. It gets further day by day. It's a long, long way from Claire. Friday night it comes around and he's away to bed. Mom and I gather to laugh to take home. It's a long, long way from Claire to oh, it's a long, long way from Claire to oh, it's a long, long way. It gets further day by day. It's a long, long way from Claire to I promised her I'd be coming home, pockets full of gold. It's a long, long way from Claire to oh, it's a long, long way from Claire to oh, it's a long, long way. It gets further day by day. It's a long, long way. I dream I hear a piper play, maybe it's an ocean. I dream I see white horses dance on the distant ocean. It's a long, long way from Claire to oh, it's a long, long way from Claire to it gets further day by day. It's a long, long way from Claire. It was such a long way that they would have a funeral for the people before they left, because they knew they'd probably never see them again. Most of the Irish came thinking that they were going to make lots of money and go back to Ireland, and they never did. That's why we're here. It's a long way. It gets further day by day. It's a long, long way from Claire to
Thank you so much, guys. You know, our whole show has been very depressing, I've noticed, and I'm seeing all these lovely children. I think they want to dance, so I'll play a couple tunes on this flute here. This is an Irish flute. This is actually the original silver flute. Once the metal fabrication got good enough, they decided, away with the wood, we're going to make it all silver. But this was the original flute, and it's really standard in Irish music. So here are a couple maybe faster tunes. This is a gorgeous new drum called a bowron. It originated by sifting wheat, and then someone decided to start banging on it. That sounds great. So we're gonna play a couple of tunes real quick. An Irish flute and an Irish bowron.
and we need lots of running. Lots and lots of running.
Can we get some dancers over here?
Running, hopping, dancing, anything, clapping.
So that is my favorite instrument to play. But there's one problem with it, which is I can't talk and I can't yip while I play. So luckily there's a solution to this. It's a very complicated, very mechanical solution, but it's another instrument I have here called the uilleann pipes. I'll get the uilleann pipes out in a minute. It's a lot to set up. It's a big kerfuffle here, but I'll do it for you guys.
These are a form of bagpipes in Ireland called uilleann. Uilleann means elbow in Gaelic. So you'll notice he's going to play these with his elbows. He's going to strap one side of the bellows to his ribs. On the other side, he's going to strap to his elbow. So by going like this, he can actually pump air into the box.
This is my favorite part of the show. So yeah, they're elbow pipes, and they're what's called a dry reed pipe, which is, I have another set of bagpipes that are wet reed, so I blow into them. And the dry reeds are fantastic because they can do 3 octaves, which is, if anyone did their music theory class, they realize that it's a lot of octaves, it's a lot of notes, but they are very complicated to tune.
These are much safer. You have a seat belt.
That's the law in Massachusetts. Buckle up.
It comes with an airbag. And it even has a horn.
And this is my most recent instrument. I bought these about 3 or 4 months ago, so forgive me. I am very new at this. And I've got myself all tangled.
Don't worry, he's a professional. Go on, Mike, this way. That sounds a lot like it's Monday morning and we have to go to work music, doesn't it? Who's ready to do some working? When the Irish came, they had to work incredibly hard, and of course, they didn't get the best jobs, and they certainly weren't paid very well. They were lucky to get jobs at all because a lot of places would display a sign in the window that said, "No Irish need apply." Right? Can we have some workers down here? Can you get this sign? So we're going to play a working song for you now. The work they did, particularly in Boston, was brutal work with literally picks, shovels, and wheelbarrows. And they filled in a lot of the swampland. They helped build a lot of the structures that are there now. They built almost the whole back bay with Irish laborers. And they also worked on another new contraption in the 1850s there was this great thing coming in called the railway. And there were a lot of people who worked on the railway. And this is going to be a railway song. We need some workers. Who's going to come? No workers? Oh. Come on. Okay. This chorus is really easy. Ready? Fiddly ori oreo. Fiddly ori ori, eh? Fiddly ori oreo. Working on the railway. Fiddly ori ori, eh? Fiddly ori ori, oh. Fiddly ori ori, eh? Working on the railway. This is my choir right here. This is fabulous. Well done. All right. Ready? We got our workers. We've got our singers. Okay. Come on, guys, work. In 1841, I put my corduroy breeches on. Put my corduroy breeches on to work upon the railway. Fiddly ori ori oh, fiddly ori ori eh. Fiddly ori ori oh, I'm working on the railway. I can't hear you. Fiddly ori ori oh, fiddly ori ori eh. Fiddly ori ori eh, to work upon the railway. In 1842, I left the old work for the new. Left the old work for the new to work upon the railway. Fiddly ori ori eh, fiddly ori ori eh. Fiddly ori ori eh, to work upon the railway. Oh, good working! Keep working! Yes! Encourage them! Some of you can see, but I'll just draw your attention. We have a slideshow going on behind us on the Zoom screen. Through the window, you might be able to see. And there are lots of great photos of Irish workers on the railway. And you just look at the faces, and it's like the map of Ireland in there. And you also will see coming up too some pictures from the Civil War. They arrived in America in the 1850s, with the potato hunger starting in the late 1840s. When does the Civil War happen in America? Anybody? 1860s, right. So they've been here about 10 years, and they very, very, very much believed in the right of everybody to be free, and they fought hard for the North. And because they were still not accepted by American society, they were put into regiments of their own, separate Irish regiments. And they were often sent into the worst parts of the battle. And this is part of the success story. This is that middle ground where the story starts to shift for the Irish, because when the American Civil War ended, they were treated as, they were recognized as the heroes that they were. They were incredibly brave and incredibly good at helping the Union cause. And when they came home, they were treated with respect, and they got involved in politics, and they started working in neighborhoods as their fellow people kept arriving from from Ireland. They set up neighborhoods, they set up networks, they set up ways to help each other, to pull together. They started electing their own officials. And they brought their music and their culture and their dancing and all of these wonderful things. So we're gonna play some tunes now. Callum's gonna play some tunes. And this is my grandmother's fiddle, his great-grandmother's fiddle.
This very one. There's a photo on our wall with my grandmother and this fiddle.
She's about 20 years old holding it too.
So this is exactly what I do. I play the fiddle, and I come to things like this. And I learned playing very traditionally Irish, as well as Scottish a little bit, but now the evolution is really interesting, and it's changed the music. So now I play more what I call like Boston Irish. We're still looking for like a genre title, but I'm gonna play two tunes for you guys. One is a really traditional old Planksty tune, and then I'm going to go into a very modern tune by someone written in Boston. It definitely has an Irish tone to it, but it's a little bit more epic. And I don't know the names of any tune. Let's see if you can tell the difference.
You can see things have evolved a little bit. And we still love the old and the new. So we're going to talk about politics. How fun is that? Anybody ready to talk about politics? Politics were a big thing in post-Civil War and all the way into the 20th century. And within 100 years, we're getting to the triumph part of the story. Within 100 years of the great potato hunger and the mass starvation and the mass exodus, and the way they were not welcomed, we come in 1960, we elect John F. Kennedy, right, who was the first Irish Catholic American president from Massachusetts. And that journey is a very interesting journey. It starts with his grandfather, actually, who is named Honey, because he was so friendly. John Fitzgerald, he was one of the first Irish mayors of Boston. And the Irish became very involved in politics. Sometimes when they were rooting for a particular candidate, they won, sometimes not. In this particular case, there was a very, very funny song written as a campaign song for a character called Walter O'Brien. And he was from the Progressive Party, and somebody wrote us this song for him, and you might recognize it.
Yeah, while she gets that set up, I know what she's going to say, so I'm going to ask everyone else. Is it okay if I take my hat off? Because I'm really hot.
He needs to ask his mother. Okay, so this is a song. On our little slideshow in there, you might see something called a Charlie card. And the Massachusetts Transit Authority was what was used to be known the Underground. Remember, the Irish actually helped build this railway. So if you know it, clap along, please, sing along. This is a funny story about a guy who got stuck on the train because the Progressive Party was fighting the fare increase. They said, if you vote for us, we won't raise the fare. And of course, I don't think it Let me tell you all the story about a man named Charlie. He pretended to play and play. Fight for fair increase, then cultural darling and Charlie of the MTA. Or never return, no, never return, and fate will be unaware. He may ride forever beneath the streets of Boston, is the land who can never return. He may ride forever beneath the streets of Boston. Now, instead of being shunned, instead of being ostracized, instead of being marginalized and hated, the Irish are celebrated so much so that there's one particular day when even if you haven't a drop of Irish blood, the whole country turns Irish. What day is that? Of course, St. Patrick's Day, and we celebrate in Boston with a great parade. And the irony is we don't even play Irish fights, we play Scottish fights. You want to explain why?
Yes, this is the last instrument we have today, and this is definitely not my favorite, but I love playing them. They're very loud. And you know what? I'll break it down a little bit. I'll show you how these work. Everything is very fragile, but if you can see, this tiny little reed at the end is what makes all the noise. And any of you who have brothers and sisters know what loud noises come from very small places. Very loud. So it takes way too much effort for me to just huff and puff into this. So I connect this to a big bag. Right here, this is just a big bag. It used to be made out of animal skin or intestines usually. It's Gore-Tex, it's all fine. So what I'm doing now is I'm pumping up the bag, and then I'm going to use the bag as kind of like my second lung. So while I take a breath, this bag is going to pump air through it. And then I have 3 drones. I have the bass drone, baritone drone, and the tenor drone. So hopefully everything's in tune since I tuned them last. And if anyone would be so inclined to march with me, that would be great.
They were just
Like sheep.
thank you so much. This has been so incredibly much fun. We have had a great time sharing some of the stories and some of the songs and some of the music and fun of Ireland with you to keep your heritage strong. We hope this makes you curious about your own culture, your own heritage, your own families, and others as well. We have time for one more thing, and we'd like you to choose which instrument you'd like to hear for the last time.
Don't say pipes. We're done. Banjo.
Banjo, yeah.
You know, this is actually an African instrument, funny enough. Irish instruments are all originated from very random parts of the country, but this was actually called the banjar. And it was a very old frame drum that got converted into a stringed instrument.
We like to borrow.
We like to borrow, yeah.
Share.
We
We
don't
like to
believe.
share.
So, this is partly my little set, so I'm going to play a very recently composed tune by Seamus Egan. It's called The Czar of Munster. It's very weird.
You won't believe it, but I've got to get him to a pub back in Boston. I
A druid.
I can only have him out of his natural habitat for a couple hours a day. Yeah, seriously, Callum, I love him so dearly as a son, but also as a musician. He doesn't read a note of music. It's all by ear.
If anyone's struggling in school, just hold out. It'll all be fine.
You know, like, this is how the traditions are passed on from family member to family member, and he's lucky he has a talented father. But if you are interested in learning Irish music, there are avenues where we do teach by ear. We don't read music, but we learn.
Yeah, I do many private lessons, and also if you're interested in the music of Boston and in Boston, let me know after the show. I play 5 nights a week all around Boston, Somerville, MIT. I'm going to be playing at the Druid tonight, so if anyone's local, just let me know.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you again.